There's some snowy peaks off in the distance. Pretty nice view. This trip, just starting, is at Cathedral Rock Trailhead. This is again in the Alpine Lakes National Forest. It's a 4-day trip, 3 nights. Total mileage, I think, is right at 40, just a few miles shy. I think the highest point's around 5,500 feet, according to Gaia GPS. It's climbing, let's see, I think it was 9,500 feet for the whole trip. Pretty dense area. Looks real pretty on the map. It's not far from where I was last time in the Alpine Lakes. It's a little bit northeast of that area, just north of Cle Elum, and some very, very primitive gravel roads that I could only drive about 20 miles an hour on for over an hour. So that drive really kind of sucked, but I'm out here. Very few cars in the trailhead parking lot. Very few. Expecting some good views. Hopefully see some more wildlife. Play with some bears. Part of this trail, this is a loop trail, so there's a few parts in it that are down and back to get to my campsites, but for the most part it's a loop, and part of the loop is on the PCT, so I imagine I'll run into some thru hikers on the PCT when I get up that way, and I'll be camped out on my second night right off the PCT trail, so hopefully campsites aren't scarce. Don't know what to expect there yet, but we'll see. So here we go, Alpine Lakes Wilderness. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that is Mount Rainier off in the distance. So this is my first little peek at some mountains. This whole hike has been in pretty dense forest, but pretty nice today. Mosquitoes are kind of tough, but overall pretty nice hike. Up here at higher elevations, I'm at about 5,300 feet. Got a nice little breeze, so it's keeping the bugs away. But it's pretty nice. Not many critters. Probably too hot for them. It's probably mid 70s, I'd say. Mid 70s. I'm about 7 miles in right now. About 3 miles to go. But nothing real. No exciting terrain. It's all pretty mundane through the woods. Nice and peaceful. I like it. No people. Ran into 2 people. They were hiking up to Mount Daniel. They were going to see if they could do some skiing. They actually had their snow skis with them. So, but I haven't run into any snow. Obviously, way too hot where I'm at. But yeah, pretty nice. This is Lake Michaels, and it is beautiful out here. There's little bitty patches of snow still left in the mountains, but it is so peaceful. It's so nice out. It's like, I don't know, probably mid 70s, and there is no one around. It's a pretty neat lake. It's so clear. It's just crystal clear. This is about a mile north of the lake that I'm going to camp at. I'm going to go a little bit further south this afternoon. It's like almost 2:30 right now. But this is really pretty, really nice, really good weather. All this wind is keeping all the bugs off. It's nice. Oh, my heart is racing. I just scared a black bear just probably 30 feet off the trail. I did not see him, and boy was he big. But he snorted at me and kind of darted off and stopped and stared at me, but he scared the crap out of me. He doesn't seem to be following me, but I scared him just as bad as he scared me. Boy, he was really close. Too close for comfort. Took about 5 or 6 really fast steps in the opposite direction of him, which that's not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to run. And then I gathered my thoughts, turned around, and started backing up. He didn't want anything to do with me either. I think I'll be making noise the rest of the way back to this trail. This trail that I'm on is really primitive. It's a hiker only, no horses or stock animals. So it doesn't get used very much, and it's really thick back in here. So I'm going to keep making a lot of noise and make sure that doesn't happen again. Whew, that startled me. Startled me good. All right. Glad he's not following me, so that's good. This is the peak of my height. This is 5,800 feet. And a beautiful view. Lots of snow-covered peaks all around me. I just got about 30 more minutes before I get to camp. No more bear sightings. No people. This trail is very, very primitive. You could tell it hasn't been used in a long time. It's really grown up. That means that there won't be any people at this campsite. I'm looking forward to that. I like the solitude. Well, this is Lake Terrence, my final destination. Beautiful dark lake. Just stuck in here in this mountain side. It's all these real steep banks. I gotta walk around this thing and find a campsite. Yeah, so found a dandy of a campsite right here on the edge of this lake. Supposedly, it's the only one out here. So if anybody shows up late, which I doubt they will, it is a Thursday. I mean, it's already 3:30, but boy, this is nice. I'm gonna set up camp, probably have dinner here soon. I'm starving. Got my camp all set up. Had my dinner and my food. And just gonna chill by this lake. There's actually some really good sized trout in here that I can see. Some of them probably 15 to 18 inches, which I'm really surprised. Pretty big fish for this mountain lake. They only have a short time to feed, but there's a lot of action out here on the lake. There's a little fish right there, getting some bugs. But pretty impressive, some of the fish that I've seen through here. But there was a guy at about 4 o'clock. It's 20 after 6 now. 4 o'clock. He was just out running. He had like a little day pack on. But he came over that ridge right there. Came down the mountain and then ran around the lake, around over by me. I talked to him briefly. He was in a hurry. He was in a race with daylight. So he wanted to beat the day because he didn't have a headlamp. So he had a long way to go. But wow, I mean, he was yelling over there on the other side. I was like, oh great, I got some lunatic over here. But I didn't see him run down the side of the mountain. I just saw him when he was over on the other side of the lake, and he was hollering, yelling Wolverine, things like that. I was like, oh my God, there's a nutcase out here in my camp. But he was actually just running. He was just yelling to scare bears, let bears know he was there. So that's just how he did it. But he went on, ran on down that way, but there's not a trail, and he's just kind of bushwhacking through. But apparently he does this often. But cool guy. It's weird. Didn't expect to see anybody out here, but he had several miles to go. So thank God, because I really didn't want to have to put up with anybody. But I doubt I will. There's not going to be anybody out here. It was so, especially this lake. It's such a remote spot. But I'm going to probably just hang out a minute and turn in. See you tomorrow. All right, it's about 8:30ish on my way back to Lake Michael, and then back on the main trail. And I'm going to be headed to Waptis Lake, which is about 10 miles. Last night, the weather was awesome. This is the first night, I think, in a long time where I didn't have to worry about rain or condensation or anything. My guess is it probably was in the 50s. I didn't look. Last night, I was able to leave the rain fly open, had a little bit of a breeze coming through. I was all alone out here on this lake. It's such an excellent spot. I mean, it is really remote out here. No critters last night, no issues with those, and just a really pleasant spot. Really nice. So, looking forward to the rest of this trip. This next campsite, it's going to be right next to the PCT trail. So, I don't know if I'm going to have any issues with PCT hikers, because there's a lot of them. We'll see. I don't know. Don't know what to expect, but looking forward to the next adventure. So here we go today. And I'll be talking my whole way through my way back to Lake Michael, because I don't want to scare up any more bears. And I'm sure they don't want me to scare them. So I'm going to keep an eye out. How'd you like to wake up to this every morning? And it's nice out. It's mid-60s right now. It's my first time wearing shorts. Kind of like it, but got cuts all over my leg from the trail yesterday. It doesn't get used very often. It's all growed up. The only thing that sucks this time of year is all the mosquitoes, which they don't bother me too bad. I do have a head net. I haven't used it yet, but as long as you keep moving, they don't seem to bother me. But sitting down at camp at night, they can get aggravating. I don't get too many bites though. Okay, not sure if you can see him. I can barely see him through the lens, but there's a brown bear down there. He should be right about in there. I was hoping he'd pop up, but he's not. Let's see if we can get a better look. Yep, there he is. See him? He's coming this way, so I'm probably going to take off here. See him right there? Yep. Pretty cool. Got to see another one. Okay, so now he sees me. So I'm going to just go on by. Hey, bear. And he's still pretty curious looking at me. Hey, bear. That's it's a brown bear. Of course, it's not a grizzly. He just, well, there he goes. He's just a little guy. He's running off. He doesn't care at all. He kind of, well, no. There he goes. Okay. Cool. Brown bear. The waterfall right next to me. Hopefully this trail will run into that in a second. It's a pretty waterfall. Pretty good size too. Nice little pool below it, which I'm gonna need to refill my water anyway. So hopefully that takes me close to that. That would be nice. Looks like I'm just about done with the downhill. So I should be coming up on a, according to the guide, I've got a couple fords that I've got to go across, probably this river. And I think it might be called the Waptis River, which is a lake I'm going to tonight. And I should be only 3 miles from it, maybe an hour. Depends if I take any breaks or see any wildlife. But that was pretty cool seeing the brown bear earlier. But that made today pretty exciting because most of the trail has been deep in the woods with no views, just like this. Just a small trail in the middle of the woods. Can't really see much. I mean, obviously very beautiful, but kind of mundane. So we'll see how this this river ford goes when I get to it. So this is my shallow river crossing. And I'd say its deepest part is right here. Looks like maybe a foot or so right there. I'm just wearing trail runners today, so there's no waterproofing in them at all, but they're vented really well, so they'll dry out really quick when you get them wet. And it's pretty warm today. Oh, and this water feels so good. It really does. This is probably, it looks like the deepest part, and it's almost up to my knee. Not a very strong current either. Oh, that feels so good. Yeah, the rest of it's real shallow. Just a few inches. I'm gonna set my backpack down up here on the bank and come back in and get some water. And since my shoes are already soaked, I might as well just wait in this for a while. It feels good, but really, really beautiful. Look at that. Here it is again. Another pretty shallow ford. Doesn't look any deeper than the other one. About mid-shin. Same river. Waptis River. But pretty cool. Pretty fun. Pretty refreshing. Well, here's my campsite for tonight. It's beach right on Waptus Lake. A nice little shallow area. I want to take a swim, which I'm probably going to do here because it's really nice out. Got things drying out. The only thing that sucks about this campsite is it's like 20 feet off the main trail. So had a couple of people walk by already, and I'm just like, my camp's like right there. But most people are pretty friendly, so it's not an issue. But probably gonna take a swim and let this breeze dry me out, because it's a really nice breeze, just keeping all the insects off. So this is awesome. The wind's died down so I could get some video of this lake without ruining the audio, but this lake is really, really big. You see all the snow-covered peaks there in the background. It is really, really nice, and it hooks on around on the back side there, but it's really nice. This is a really good spot. A nice breeze blowing in. It kept all the insects off of me this evening. Got all my stuff dried out. Had the sun right here on this little beach. Laid all my clothes out. Was able to clean them up a little bit. It's really nice. It's a good spot. Waptus Lake. Well, it is about 10 till 8 in the morning. This is Saturday morning, so I'm expecting to see a lot more people on the trail today, especially when I get on the PCT, which it's just about a mile north of me. I'll be on the PCT. Yeah, just imagine I'll see a lot of people, or I'm expecting to anyway. Well, I'm already lost. Oh, there's the trail. Hopefully I can get a campsite. The place I chose is about 3/4 of a mile off the PCT trail. Maybe some of the PCT hikers, probably most of them, would probably avoid it. But that doesn't mean the locals, people like me, out for a few days, won't be thinking the same thing I am. 2,600 feet of elevation to climb today. I'm doing a lot of it right now. Depending on how well I do, I should get there between 1 and 2 o'clock. Depending on how many breaks I take or what. But I think it's only 9 miles, right around in there. But the place I'll be going is Peggy's Pond. Looks like a nice, quiet spot on the map, but you never know. All right, getting to it. A fun little stream crossing. This is officially the PCT. Oh, I have better luck over here probably. A lot more stones to step on. If I can avoid getting my feet wet. I'd like to, but not always possible. But I think on this trail, this little crossing I can. Nice. I have seen several people today. No through hikers. I did see a couple ladies that were hiking just the state of Washington, and they've been at it for about 3.5 weeks. Older women, probably in their 60s, I'm assuming, toughing it out. One was way ahead of the other, but I talked to both of them. They were from Olympia. Very nice. And that first part of the PCT, there were tons and tons of blowdowns. It wasn't very attractive at all. But this part here is really, really nice. Lots of little open meadows like this. You can see some campsites over here. Nobody's camping there though. But a lot of day hikers that I've seen. Probably 6 or 7. day hikers. I'm getting ready to come up on Deep Lake. I think I'm gonna take a little break there here pretty soon, and I'll show that to you when I get there. So this is Deep Lake. It's on the edge of a meadow here, and that is Cathedral Peak, which I put in at the Cathedral Peak trailhead. Pretty good sized lake. I think that might be Mount Daniel up in the off in the distance there. Or it could be just on the other side. I'm not for sure. But that is really pretty. Nice breeze blowing through. I'm gonna take a break here. I'm about halfway to where I need to be, and it's only 10 o'clock. Here at Deep Lake, I'm about 4,400 feet. And where I need to go, Peggy's Pond, is about 5,400 feet, right around in there. And that's about 3 miles away. So 3 miles, about 1,000 feet. That's a pretty good climb. And considering it's only 20 after 10, it should take me about 2 hours. This is a really good shot of Deep Lake. This is where I was, let's see, right down there earlier today, taking a break about 2 hours ago. Just a little less than 2 hours ago. That is 1,000 feet down. I'm at 5,400 feet right now. I can actually see people standing down there from this far away, but I can't read my phone without a pair of glasses. Eyesight sure is a funny thing as you get old. There's another good shot. Just right above me is Cathedral Rock. This trail here to get to Peggy's Pond is pretty sketchy. And one false move here, one little slip, you're gonna take a nasty, nasty tumble. And it's gonna hurt bad if you live. Well, I finally made it to Peggy's Pond. It's a little sketchy hike, but made it. There's several groups camping here. Got one over there, one over there. It's only 12:40, but I don't know. It's a real nice area. You can see these mountain peaks up here. One of these is Daniel's Peak. I think it's that one up there. But yeah, Peggy's Pond. There's some fish in there. I don't know if you can see them or not. There's a lot of trout right there. Swimming off. And there's several that I can see. But this is pretty neat. I'm at about 5,400 feet, I think it is, or 5,600. And I'm surprised there's fish in here. You'd think it'd freeze over all the way through the winter time, but apparently not. But it's I don't know, I'm only a couple, maybe 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours from the trailhead back to my car. And it's only 1:45. So kind of tempted to just maybe just kind of take a break here, eat lunch, and just head back to the car. Matter of fact, that's probably what I'm going to do. yeah, Peggy's Pond. Pretty nice. Here's a nice view. The other side of this ridge that I was on. So I decided to leave Peggy's Pond. I only got 5 more miles to go. It was 1:30 in the afternoon. And there's several people camped out around that pond, so I was just like, might as well just head back. But it's been a good trip. Not over yet. Still got about 4 miles to go, 4.5. A neat little pond, just on the side of the trail. I'm officially off the PCT. This is actually the Cathedral Peak trailhead that I'm on now. Headed back to my car. But this is a neat little pond up here at 5,000 feet. Here's another little lake called Squaw Lake. On my way back to the trailhead. Real pretty. Well, this concludes this trip. Car's just up here. Made it in right at 2 hours from Peggy's Pond. So it's just a little after 3:30. And got a little over an hour drive home, and we'll call it. Good trip. Got to see a couple bears, one on film. So yeah, overall, I like it. Not bad. And hiked part of the PCT. Ooh. Crossing a little creek. Before I get to the trailhead. And it's a Saturday. Look at all these cars.